Hey everybody, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show in the world, coming to you from right here at the AMC Movie News headquarters here in Burbank, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
Also here, writer-director John Schnepp.
Hey, just saw Jurassic World last night. Crowded.
You and everybody else.
I know. Me and the rest of the planet saw Jurassic World. And I just want to say I want a Jurassic Park petting zoo immediately. Because that's my favorite part of that entire film.
Also here is AMC's Mark Ellis.
That's right. And I'm wearing my shirt because this is my shirt because I wear it the best on this panel. Isn't that right, Ashley?
You got till August. All right. The results for the weekend box office are in, and it was a monstrous pudding for the new Universal film Jurassic World. The fourth installment in the Jurassic Park franchise destroyed all expectations and came in with the second biggest opening weekend in film history. The film took in over $204 million this weekend, eclipsing the $191 million made by Avengers Age of Ultron and just falling short of the $207 million made by the first Avengers film. In second spot is the Melissa McCarthy comedy Spy, making $16 million. In third spot is Dwayne Johnson's San Andreas, making just over $11 million, bringing its three-week total up to $119 million and over $300 million worldwide. In fourth spot is the horror film Insidious Chapter 3, making $7.3 million. And rounding out the top five is Pitch Perfect 2, bringing in $6 million for a domestic total of over $170 million. John, what stands out to you in this week's box office report?
Well, I mean, okay, well, obviously this whole conversation is going to start and end with Jurassic World. Now, it should be mentioned, there are reports going around. While Box Office Mojo is reporting the 204.7, I believe, there are reports coming out from several news sources claiming insiders are saying that the amount, and different outlets, Variety says 208, Deadline says 210, I think one of the other ones is saying 209, whatever. So there are other sources right now that are claiming that the number has been adjusted up. As of the recording of this show, Box Office Mojo is holding with its 204.7 number. So they may adjust that. We don't know. So for now, let's operate on the assumption that it's 204.7, but understand that number may go up by the time the show actually uploads. Insane. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw this coming. I think I pegged it at like 130. And then, well, so much for that. But I remember Ann and I were at the AMC Downtown Disney. And we were going to go see a show, and we thought, oh, we'll go see like the 11 o'clock show. That's going to be lots of seats, blah, blah, blah. And there was like 2 seats left in the IMAX theater. I was like, what? Yeah. And that was like hours in advance. The place was packed. I haven't seen the theater courtyards like that since the first Avengers film, which was a complete zoo. Mm-hmm. That also had the advantage of everybody dressing up in cosplay too, which made it more of a fun atmosphere than Jurassic World.
The Hulk's got about like 5 seats just to get in.
Yes, it does. And I really like Jurassic World. I don't think it's going to have the legs of, say, the first Avengers and stuff like that. But what an opening weekend. The other thing that kind of stands out to me, unfortunately, is Mad Max Fury Road dropped down to number 7. And Pitch Perfect 2, which opened on the same week, is still in the top 5. And it's like, I really thought that even though Mad Max opened weaker than we thought it would, that it would have really big legs, but Pitch Perfect continues to outpace it. I find that surprising, although maybe I shouldn't all that much, but I do a bit. So, but it's all about Jurassic World this weekend. Incredible numbers. Could be, by the end of the day, the biggest opening in box office history. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Mark, you saw these results. What did you think?
I think Mercedes, Verizon Wireless, and Starbucks picked the right movie to back. This is incredible. I was looking at maybe 125, 130 tops for this movie. Yeah. And me and my nonfiction girlfriend went to a movie theater to go see this on Saturday. We got the last 2 tickets of the evening. Of the last 2 tickets that were available for any showing. And I'm thinking in my head, like, this is doing something to people, because everybody is they're not raving about the movie. They're not saying it's Citizen Kane, but everybody's having a ball watching the movie. Mm-hmm. If it's not a great film necessarily, it's such a pleasure to watch this thing on screen. I think it will do pretty big repeat business as well. The drop from week 1 to week 2 is probably going to be significant. It's probably going to be over 50%. It's hard to imagine this thing's going to do over $100 million in its second week, especially with the summer competition, like Inside Out is coming out this week.
Which is going I don't know how big the numbers are going to be.
Right.
But this movie is going to get nominated for Best Picture.
Yes.
And so it's going to have stiff competition.
But there's also a holiday that I hope to never celebrate is Father's Day, okay? And so that's this week. So you have Inside Out and you have Jurassic World that are both, everybody wants to take their dad to the movies to go see. Now, is it going to be a family film like Inside Out? Jurassic World is kind of a family film. There's some brutal scenes, but that's enough to get the whole family in the theater together. So I don't think this thing's going to stop anytime soon.
Sorry. Just got a text from your girlfriend. It says, Father's Day, Mark, we should talk. I'm not sure what that means.
Bam.
Well, I will see you guys later.
Snap.
Whole different kind of weekend. Honestly, I saw it last night, and we were leaving Dennis's house. We saw the last episode of Game of Thrones. We're like, yeah, we'll catch the 8 o'clock screening. We have a good hour and a half, and it's Sunday night. Totally sold out by the time we got there. Couldn't find a parking space. We had to park at a different structure. Couldn't even get the next show or the next show after that. Had to get the 9:10 show, but it was cool. We chilled, had a little sandwich, and then watched this movie. And I really had a good time. Is it the greatest film ever? No. Is it a lot of fun? Yes. And it actually did exactly what I thought. A lot of critics were like, look, it's not the greatest film. I was like, look, I just want to see a bunch of dinosaurs kill people. Is that what's going to happen in this movie? Checkpoint. Yeah. And so to walk out of it, that's why I believe it is the number one film. Whatever the numbers are going to come in, I think it's not going to drop. It'll drop off, but I think it'll be like a 30%.
Do you think
drop.
the movie's good enough to have a lot of rewatchability? Because we've talked about this before. When a film opens with these types of numbers, that kind of says everybody went to go see it. Mm-hmm. So is there a lot of people? Do you think the buzz about the film itself and the quality of the film is going to get a lot of people coming back for second viewings? How do you think it's going to do?
Will it get the kind of buzz that Mad Max Fury Road got? No. That's not going to get that. I can't wait to see Mad Max Fury Road a third time in the theater. But I'll go see Jurassic World again. And I will, mainly because of the special effects. I thought they were top notch. That film and San Andreas have just taken special effects and blockbuster films to another level where I didn't expect San Andreas. Yeah, it's it's a popcorn film, but the massive amounts of explosion to my city that I live in right now is it's astonishing. So, that's what Jurassic Park felt like. To me, it felt like I got to see all these amazing dinosaurs and this cool action. And I really liked the storyline. Was it the greatest story or was the acting the greatest? No. The humans I didn't care about. The dinosaurs I cared about.
But who knew you could outrun a T-Rex in high heels? Oh, spoiler. Be careful. You all saw it by now. But
everyone's seen it.
Yeah, we're at a T-Rex and an Indominus Rex in parts in high heels. I'm going to start wearing high heels. This is a whole new thing to my CrossFit routine. What this thing is doing is that people enjoy a good theatrical experience. And with Jurassic World, it felt a little bit like Jurassic Park in '93, not from a film quality standpoint, but from the fact that you can see these dinosaurs on the big screen. There's some really good humor in this movie too. Yep. So there's everything that you want when you pay to see a film. This is one of those experiences you have to have on the big screen. It's got a broader appeal than a Mad Max does, or even something like San Andreas does. So again, I'm impressed. I'm happy for the movie because it's a good movie and it's a lot of fun.
Here's a question. Go ahead.
I was going to say, when you build your Jurassic World theme park ride here in California, make sure you build those gyroscopes that I could get inside. That's what I want to be.
Yeah, I'm right. Instead of the dinosaurs, that was one of the coolest things.
Yeah.
So here's a question that kind of came up in the studio amongst all of us earlier, and I'll pose it to both of you guys. So I put on Twitter the other night, I said, man, if Jurassic World can open to 204 million, what on earth is Star Wars going to do? Now, some people are saying online, Star Wars is going to open to 300 million, to 350 million. I have a couple question marks about that, though. And everybody knows Star Wars, baby. But the question is this. There's two things, though. Number one, you were mentioning, all the seats were sold out. Are there enough theaters to sustain a $300 million opening weekend? I just don't know that there's enough seats to accommodate that. But here's the other question, and this is the one I brought up on Jedi Council once before. No film in history has ever opened in the month of December to over $90 million. It's winter, it's Christmas time, it's all that kind of stuff. No film in history has ever opened in the month of December to over $90 million. Question for both of you quickly. Mark, we'll start with you. Can Star Wars Episode 7 beat $207 million opening weekend box office.
Piece of cake. It's Star Wars. I think that Lucasfilm is on the phone to JJ right now. They're like, hey, babe, we know you have total creative control. Can we get an under 2-hour cut of this movie? Because the only thing that's going to hold it back is if it's something like Avatar and it's almost 3 hours long, that reduces the amount of times you can show the movie in each cinema. As to your earlier point, yes, December isn't the best month to open a movie as far as box office receipts go, but a Star Wars film has never come out in December before.
That's true.
This thing is definitely going to break whatever record that is in front of it that weekend. I make a lot of proclamations, but this one I believe in.
I gotta say, I think it'll definitely beat Jurassic World. I think it'll be the #1 box office because of multiple things. Not only do you have snowtroopers, and it is Christmas, but you've got. I mean, every grown person cried during that trailer.
Right.
No one cried when they saw Jurassic World, the trailer. They're like, cool, dinosaurs. This movie, Chewie, we're home. Crying, we're
all
fetal
grown
position,
men.
grown men crying. It's like, come on. When this movie comes out, it doesn't even matter if it's like, it's the worst of the Star. Jar Jar should have been in it. If it gets horrible reviews, it'll still break 300 million.
And it'll be in 3D, and I think it's going to have some IMAX screenings and all that kind of stuff, so you still get the same extra bucks that you do as you would with Jurassic World.
It's got so much nostalgia rolling for it, and it's coming out during the perfect holiday family time to see. I mean, I just think everyone cannot wait to see it. You're right. Can it be in as many theaters? Like, this is the biggest rollout, I think. Jurassic World was like in 4,200.
4,200 something screens.
An insane amount of theaters.
Crazy amount.
So that's another reason why I was able to make that much money. So, yeah, Star Wars has to be in as many theaters as possible. But I definitely see it breaking, definitely 90 million, no problem.
Well, I see it beating that other December record, no sweat. I think on its first night.
Yeah, like,
actually, let me
90
ask you,
million.
like, as somebody who is rocking the Sons of AMC shirt better than anybody else at the table,
Any other female at the table.
I want a quick prediction from you. Will Star Wars?
You know, I'm not a betting girl, John. I'm not a betting girl, but 100% Star Wars is going to beat Jurassic World. Are you guys kidding me? Like, I mean, the hype over Star Wars. Everyone's talking about Star Wars coming out this year. Of course, it's going to beat that record. 100%.
Snowtroopers!
Snowtroopers are in the house.
All right, let's move on. What's next?
While many of us have been anxiously awaiting the upcoming new Quentin Tarantino film, The Hateful Eight, no official release date for the movie has been announced. That is, until now. The Hateful Eight will first hit a few select theaters on Christmas Day in 70mm prints. The special 70mm engagement will run for 2 weeks, and then The Hateful Eight will have a wide release in regular theatrical formats on January 8th, 2016. Mark, what do you think about the limited 2-week engagement before the wide release for The Hateful Eight?
Well, I'm of a mixed opinion about this because I live in LA, so I want to laugh at everybody else and say, oh, I'll definitely get it. But on Christmas Day, I'll probably be chilling in Williamsburg, Virginia, which isn't going to be one of the top markets to get The Hateful Eight. So I don't know when I'm going to see this movie. I think it makes sense. I think that obviously Tarantino believes in it. You roll it out early enough to where the limited release will get it Oscar consideration for this year. It's the same thing that American Sniper did. That seemed to work out pretty well this past year. So I think it makes sense from a business standpoint. Some fans are going to be upset that it's not just coming out all at the same time. But like you guys said, you might not be able to get tickets to The Force Awakens on December 18th. So maybe you got to put that one off until Christmas Day. Then you can put this one off until the middle of January.
I think you just nailed the big thing here that none of the press release addresses. I think because this is a Weinstein Company thing too, right? This is a move just to make it qualify for that year's Oscars. That's what this move is really about. They can talk about it being for the integrity of the 70mm blah 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 2.75 to 1 aspect ratio blah blah blah. They can talk about that all they want.
You sound like the grandfather of Schnepp's nerd character.
That's right. It is the grandfather of my nerd character.
Yeah, Grandpa, tell us more about 70mm. I heard it was shot in a 65mm. Well, who else said it was actually 70mm? And Tarantino just let's talk about the lenses.
I told you, 2.75 to 1 aspect ratio. No, they can talk about that all they want. What this is really about is we want that January 8th release date, but we want this to qualify for the Academy Awards. It's much like what they do with American Sniper, too. But, and I'll be honest with you, I am not enamored. I know there's a lot of guys with pocket protectors and pushing up their glasses right now. I might want to talk about 70mm, but the reality is I'm actually not all that enamored with it. But the image is breathtaking. I am not a fan, though, of that 2.75 to 1 aspect ratio. I know a lot of people say it gives you so much width in the image. To me, it doesn't feel that way. It actually feels like what my dad used to complain about when widescreen TVs came out. Why are they putting the black bars on the top and the bottom? But I got to admit, I feel like at that aspect ratio, I feel really crunches the height of the image rather than expanding the width. So I'm not that enamored with it. But I do think this is a really good move because of Oscar consideration, but also because I think what will happen with this film is what happened with American Sniper. A slow rollout at first. It built this great buzz amongst its audience and amongst its demographic. And so it's going to come out. And to me, this says that this company is very confident in this film. So they're going to let it roll out for 2 weeks on some screens and let people start talking about it online and talk about how awesome it is. And then when that January 8th date hits, it's going to crush. So while I'm not a big fan of the 70mm thing necessarily, got nothing against it, I do think this is a really smart move for some reason. Anyway, Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you that it's like have your cake and eat it too. It's like release it so that it gets that Oscar buzz so it can participate in the 2015. But I gotta say, John, blasphemy about talking about 70mm.
I know.
Once Upon a Time in the West, Lawrence of Arabia. Tarantino's such a film nerd that he's gonna use the scope that it's not just like pan and scan. I've seen films shot in 65mm and 70 that are a waste of time because they're shooting it because they know they're gonna cut off the edges.
Yeah.
You know that Tarantino's gonna take full use of that scope.
I have no doubt.
So that's all I can say.
I have no doubt
It's
about
like,
that.
I wouldn't. That's why I'm sorry that you're going to be in Nebraska? Where are you going to be?
Might as well be.
Virginia.
Well,
Thanks for
you're not
paying
going to be in
attention.
Hollywood seeing this movie. But for the lucky few who get to see it in 70mm, we're going to get to partake in that rare flavor that we just don't get that much. So that's why I'm excited about it being in 70mm. I agree with you. 70 isn't for everybody, and it can be a waste. But when it's given to someone who actually knows how to make films like Tarantino, it's a joy. So I'm excited about it.
And it does give the viewers, I'll say this word too, it gives the viewers a very unique film-going experience that you don't get to get very often, and you probably aren't going to get for much longer.
No, that's true.
So there's that advantage as well. All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Ashley's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Ashley, what do we got?
London Has Fallen, the sequel to 2013's Olympus Has Fallen, was originally scheduled to hit AMC theaters on October 2nd this year. However, the plan has changed. With the recent announcement that Ridley Scott's The Martian was moved to October 2nd, Focus Features has decided to move the film to January 22nd, 2016. London Has Fallen will once again star Gerard Butler, Aaron Eckhart, and Morgan Freeman, and begins after the British Prime Minister passes away. His funeral then becomes a target of a terrorist organization to destroy some of the world's most powerful leaders, devastate the British capital, and unleash a terrifying vision of the future. The only hope to stopping it rests on the shoulders of the President of the United States, Eckhart, and his formidable Secret Service head, Butler. Schnepp, buy or sell moving London Has Fallen to January 22nd.
So, London's falling and they're moving their dates. Yeah, that's all I could think about is the Clash song. And yeah, they should move. That's all I can say. It's like, you know what? I mean, I'm sorry. I can't get behind this superhero president storyline,
Did you not see Independence Day? Bill Pullman flew an aircraft.
If it was Bill Pullman, I'd watch this movie. They should move it somewhere far away from The Martian. They're very smart to do that. That's all I can say about it.
Well, what is this going to do to London Has Fallen's Oscar chances? It was set up prime to come out in October and get consideration, and now it's where it probably belongs, which is late January. Now, look, sometimes you usually get bad movies in January. Okay, I'm a monthist, so I don't believe in a lot of films that come out in January. But I think that the first Taken came out in January. That surprised everybody. I don't know when Taken 2 or Taken 3 came out, but maybe if they came out in January, that proves my other point. I am concerned that this movie is going to be that good. I think it'll be stupid fun. I liked Olympus Has Fallen a lot more than I thought I would, so I'm going to give London Has Fallen a chance to be okay, and maybe it's that thing that picks us up in January. Because remember, by January, you're a little tired of all the Oscar movies. You're like, okay, I get it. You have great acting and great dialogue and great directing and all that crap. Give me some explosions, preferably at a funeral. There we go.
Preferably at a funeral. Here's the thing. After I saw that horrible abortion of a film, White House Down, with Magic Mike and Electro. Yeah. That movie was so monumentally awful that, and I saw it first, that going into its, the copycat film, I had absolutely no hope for this whatsoever. I'm going to tell you now, I am with you. I liked Olympus Has Fallen. I had a lot of fun. It was over the top violent. It was like really hardcore, like a lot of edge to it. Some pretty funny one-liners, all that kind of stuff. Aaron Eckhart is a president I can believe in to save the day, by the way.
Where's Big Ben Down, my sequel to White House Down? That's what I'm looking for.
And look, here's the thing too. You nailed it when you mentioned this. The Martian looks great. It looks great. And if they're going to move that date, a Ridley Scott film with this all-star cast led by Matt Damon, all that kind of stuff, if they're moving that film onto your date, you move off. And because January has been so traditionally bad, there are ripe opportunities for doing some good business because of the people getting tired of the Oscar stuff, all that as well. You articulated that perfectly. So I think this is a good move for me. It's a buy. All right, what's next?
According to a report from Variety, Parks and Recreation and Inside Out star Amy Poehler is in negotiations to star alongside Will Ferrell in the upcoming comedy The House. The House follows Ferrell's character and his wife Poehler, who after losing their daughter's college fund decide that they can earn some money back by opening an illegal casino in their basement. The film is written by Andrew J. Cohen and Brendan O'Brien, who also wrote the 2014 comedy Neighbors. John Byers saw the sounds of The House.
What is there not to buy about this? I mean, granted, the synopsis sounds a little bit like maybe an SNL skit, but I loved Neighbors. I really like what they did with Neighbors. I really enjoy Will Ferrell when he's on. He's not always on, but when he is, he's quite good. And Amy Poehler, I was late to the Park and Recreation party. I joined it probably about season 3 or season 4, and it has become one of my all-time favorite sitcoms. And Poehler is fantastic in it. And I know you guys are probably getting sick of me harping on Inside Out, but Poehler, they're doing the voice of joy. I was actually with a very esteemed film critic in this town last night who does a lot of award seasons coverage. And this is, I kid you not, what he said to me is he thinks Inside Out is one of the greatest motion pictures of all time. And I loved it. I mean, I think it's an incredible film. It's awesome. It's a foregone conclusion. It's going to win Best Animated Film this year. I'm going to be shocked if it doesn't get nominated, become the 3rd or 4th film in animated film in history to become nominated for Best Picture at the Oscar as well. It's that good. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. But we're talking about The House, and I think The House sounds funny. For me, it's a buy. Schnepp?
Did your friend see Citizen Kane? Just wondering if he's seen other films. Inside House is the best movie ever.
I can't wait till you see it. I get your reaction.
That's such a big proclamation.
It is.
I'm just wondering about the other rest of film
that.
history. No, I know. Your friend, the weirdo, the strange guy is like,
Inside Out is the best movie ever made.
Let me say this. Amy Poehler is one of the most talented, funniest ladies.
I forgot you've worked with her.
Yeah, I got to direct her in Upright Citizens Brigade. And I've just been able to have the pleasure of watching her career explode. So her with Will Ferrell and the guys who wrote Neighbors, which was one of my favorite comedies of last year.
Right.
Loved it. I wholeheartedly buy this. And just the premise alone, just reading that they have to build a casino in their house, in their basement, you just know what's going to... I can already start imagining the insanity and chaos of what's going to happen. So I can't wait to see it.
Was it Dollar Margarita night at Buffalo Wild Wings where you guys were drinking and having this conversation?
That's right. Here, let's impersonate. What do you think the best movie was?
Did you not see Inside Out?
I can't. It's the best movie ever made ever.
Well, The House will not be the best movie made.
To be fair, he
ever.
said one of the big difference.
And Inside Out is fantastic. But this sounds fun to me. It doesn't sound like anything groundbreaking. It stars Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler, but you know they're not going to be the only 2 big names in this. Right. With a premise
Good
like
point.
this, you're going to have a lot of other comedic superstars. I can't believe Kevin Hart isn't going to come into that casino at some point. So this sounds like...
Or Rob Riggle.
It's just...
Rob Riggle.
Absolutely. Definitely.
One of the Robs, Rob Corddry, one of them is going to show up. Now Chris Hemsworth is in every comedy, so he'll probably make an appearance. It sounds like fun. It doesn't sound like anything, that's the funniest premise ever, but you put them... If Amy Poehler and Will Ferrell believe in a project, I believe in them enough to say, yes, I want to go see this movie. They've never failed to make me laugh. Even in bad movies, they're still funny, so let's do it.
All right, what's next?
As many of you will remember, a few months ago it was announced that a new fully animated rebooted Smurfs movie would be on the way, and now we have our first details. The title of the new film will be Get Smurfy. Singer Demi Lovato will voice Smurfette, The Office star Rainn Wilson will voice Gargamel, and the Princess Bride's Mandy Patinkin will voice Papa Smurf. Get Smurfy finds Smurfette and her brothers trekking through the uncharted enchanted forest to try to discover a fabled Smurf village before their nemesis, the evil wizard Gargamel does. Along the way, some of the mysteries of the little blue creature's origins are brought to light. Do Smurfs come in any other colors? Are their mushroom houses organic? And why are there 99 Smurfs and only one girl? Get Smurfy will hit AMC theaters on March 31st, 2017. Mark, buy or sell the sounds of Get Smurfy.
Well, what is there not to buy here? I mean, you got 99 dudes, you got one hot chick, and everybody competing for it. That's always been the premise that I want to know more about is what sort of reproductive genes are wrong in the Smurfs that they can only make boys. Like, Henry VIII would have killed to have Smurf genes because you never make a girl, you just make a boy. You just keep making heirs to the throne. Everything else in this movie. Look, when we talked about this initially, when it came up, nobody had a worse time in the theater for Smurfs 1 and Smurfs 2, okay? That was the worst theater and a half experience of my life. I say half because I got out of Smurfs 2 early. I was like, I'm checking out, I'm out of here. This doesn't sound horrible to me because they're doing it right. They're keeping it animated the entire time. They're not going into some human realm. Their experiences along the way, as long as it doesn't get too politically charged. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's the first movie, but it's like they're going to run into Smurf. Are we going to have a race war of green Smurfs versus blue Smurfs? How serious are we going to take this? Or is it just going to be lighthearted fun, which is what I want the Smurfs to be? Maybe you can teach the kids a lesson or two, but let's just keep this Smurf-tastic, and I'll buy it. I bought it.
Okay, look, here's the thing. I am one of the very few, granted, stupid people who I actually got a little bit of a kick out of the first Smurfs movie.
Oh, boy.
I did. I'm going to be honest with you. I could fake it, but I'm going to be honest. Judge me if you will. I walked out of the first Smurfs movie going, you know what? I found that kind of charming. And I thought Hank Azaria's Gargamel was kind of funny and all that kind of stuff. But number 2 was just awful. That was so bad. But when I heard that they were going to relaunch the series again, this time fully animated and all that kind of stuff, I got to admit, I got kind of excited. I thought, this is a good idea. Get Smurfy. This ranks right up there with Robin Hood Origins. As one of the worst titles. This is a terrible title. The title ultimately is not really all that important. One negative thing that stands out to me, though, is that it's like the studio at this point is just saying, you know what? The art of voice acting is totally useless and irrelevant. Let's just go get some popular singer girl, which is kind of what they did with the first Smurfs movie. They went out and got
Katy Perry.
Thank you very much. They went and got Katy Perry to do the voice of Smurf. Now they're going, you know what? Voice actors aren't important. Their trade, their craft, not important. Let's just go out and get somebody who the kiddies like right now and get her to do the voice. That's discouraging to me. Despite all of that, I still think the premise for this is sound. I think a fully animated Smurfs thing is a cool idea. I'm actually looking forward to seeing it, so I have no choice but to give it a buy. Schnepp.
You know what? I mean, I agree with you what you were saying about voiceover acting, but I hate that I even just proved you wrong because you were like, who was in this other Smurf movie that I didn't see, yet I knew that Katy Perry played a voice in it.
Yeah, no, that's
you
it.
did not
Exactly.
hesitate.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I just instantly knew it. But I didn't see the Smurf 1 or 2 film. I probably won't see Get Smurfy either. I'm selling this. I just think it sounds stupid. I mean, it's like, what are the mushrooms organic? I mean, are you serious? Who cares?
I care.
I've never cared about it.
Why don't you care what I feel?
I want a Get Smurfy shared universe, so we get the green and
not
purple
bad.
Smurfs and the red Smurfs. There's 99 female Smurfs to 1 male Smurf.
I don't mind that mixer.
Schmargamel, it's a female, whatever. It's so
Schmargamel?
so dumb. I'm probably when it comes out, I'll be like, this is the best movie, one of the best movies ever made. Will Smith and CeeLo's Get Smurfy song really sold me on it. It's one of the best films ever made.
It is better than Inside Out. It's the
It tops
officially
Inside
greatest
Out. It
film
should
of
win at
all
least
time.
17 Oscars. Get Smurfy. I'm
All
selling
right,
it.
folks, we've reached that part of the show now for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question that you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Every day we try to take a couple of your questions, send them on in. So, Ashley, what is in the mailbag today?
First one comes from Rory Smith, and he writes, Hey, AMC crew, with Batman Begins turning 10 years old on June 15th, I was wondering what you all thought about the legacy of this particular film. Thanks for bringing great shows every day.
It is rough thinking that movie came out 10 years ago. That is really rough. You know, it was a special film. Look, I still contend the film that really revolutionized and got the new era of comic book films going was X-Men 1. But there's such a monumental addition to the whole canon, if you will, of the comic book movie genre with Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins. It just it introduced us to the Batman that I think a lot of us wanted. The one that I think the progressive Batman films got lost on us as we got into the neon lights Batman, the giant codpiece Batman, the ice skating criminals with their glowing hockey sticks.
You can
Batman.
say it, John. Bat nipples.
Bat nipples. I mean, bat nipples. It is the film that, if you will, I don't want to go so far as to say it redeemed Batman, but no, I'll say it. Batman Begins redeemed Batman, who is probably the greatest on-screen superhero character. Its importance cannot be underplayed. I mean, it just absolutely can't. And then it led us, without it, we don't get The Dark Knight, which to a lot of people is the greatest comic book film ever made. I still kind of vote for The Avengers, but there's a huge amount of people that Dark Knight is so special to them, and that just doesn't exist without Batman Begins. It's just an incredible feat what it did, also within the context of film itself. So you can't underestimate its importance. 10 years though, man. I just cannot believe time has flown that much. Anyway, Schnepp, the 10th anniversary of Batman Begins, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I'll add that also Batman Begins took a lot of risks.
Yes.
Not only just rebooting the origin, going really gritty and dark and playing more to adults than kids, but it also used villains that no one had ever heard of. No one in popular media. Like, if you're a comic book reader, you would like Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow, but most people were like, who are they? Where's the Joker? Where's Penguin? Where's Riddler? The normal villains of Batman. They went with like some very obscure villains, but I think it was a really smart move on Nolan's part was to do that because it helped reestablish this brand new universe. So you're not going back with some of the known characters. You're bringing in newer characters so that you could bring back the Joker and do such an amazing job. Yeah, to me, I feel like The Dark Knight is one of my favorite superhero films, right there with the Avengers. I don't have like a number system, but just because Dark Knight is its own thing, it's like a crime drama, while the Avengers is like a big, group fun kind of thing. It's more fun. No one's really laughing in Batman Begins, unless you're like scarecrowed out, like freaking out laughing, But yeah, its legacy is there as one of the films that definitely with X-Men and Spider-Man helped relaunch all these superhero films to where we are now with like 6 or 7 movies every year.
Let me know if you agree or disagree with this. Just pony on what you were just talking about. Is it fair to say, though, that with this new world that Christopher Nolan was creating, Ra's al Ghul, the Scarecrow, fit much better into that? Is it fair to say that as great as Heath Ledger's Joker was, it wouldn't have been as well received if it was in the first Batman film without having a first film to set the groundwork for what this new world is like and then introduce him?
Totally agree with you. Yeah, because the groundwork set with Batman Begins brought in Bruce Wayne, his origin, how he became Batman, and grounded it in this like firm reality, no magic. Like, granted, like the Man of Steel, once you introduce like an alien from another planet, you have to introduce, even though it's technology, it's magic. So that's why Nolan, as a producer, is like, look, I'm stepping off, have fun in that universe. I'm glad I helped bring this, grittier type of cinematic world to DC. But now we're gonna have like Aquaman, all these other characters. When Nolan did his original trilogy, it's simply like, yeah, this guy's weird. He has to put on a bat outfit, and we're giving him a psychological reason for it. And henceforth, that kind of thing that worked with Tim Burton's original Batman's like, right. You created me, I created you, you created me first. To give the reason a villain puts on weird clown makeup or whatever is he was created by this guy who wears a weird Batman outfit. Christopher Nolan's was taken way more seriously, very no jokey kind of stuff at all, but it really worked, and it helped. It really helped establish for just normal people, like, they liked the Batman in this world because it is a weird idea. This guy flying around, jumping around in a bat outfit,
What was your name for Aquaman again?
Waterman.
Waterman.
And then Spicy Larry.
Spicy Larry. That's right, Mark.
Spicy Larry, H2O boy. Look, this set the template for what DC films still are going to be to this day, is that dark and gritty, more realistic version. I cannot oversell how much I love Batman Begins. It's my favorite superhero movie of all time. It's either that or Avengers is Neck and Neck. I like this better than The Dark Knight because I love a good superhero origin story. And it's nice to live in a world now in 2015 where you can say, man, I'm really getting sick of all these origin stories. Like, Spider-Man's coming back. Do we need another origin story? Right. I love when they're done right. And no origin story was ever more necessary than to get Batman back on track from what happened to him. That poor SOB who was played brilliantly by Michael Keaton. That was like Jordan when he was first playing with the Bulls and won 3 championships. And then we went to play baseball. That was like make Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And then we got him back. We got the Mike that we know and love. The greatest superhero of all time was back with Batman Begins. And you're right, it set the template. That's a great point you made, too, is that you needed a villain for him to go up against. There was a formidable opponent, but not one that was going to take away any of the limelight from what we were focusing on, which was the beginning of Batman. That's the title.
All right, last question of the day.
Last question. Brett Garrison writes, Hey AMC, I watched Unthinkable with Samuel L. Jackson, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Michael Sheen recently, and I just realized that the film was straight to DVD. It had a $15 million budget and a pretty good cast, so did the people making the film know beforehand that the movie was going to be released straight to DVD, or was it a decision in post-production? I can't imagine the cast would sign up for the movie knowing it wouldn't even be in theaters. I understand some movies are made specifically for home release, but how often do studios make a film with the intention of releasing it in theaters only to change their mind later?
Well, there are a lot of films that get made where they know very well this is going to be straight to VOD, and they make it for $15 or south $1 million. It's like, we think with this name and this name, we think maybe we can get back that $15 million or that $8 million or whatever. That was always a big warning sign for me, even as a young movie fan, going into the video stores. Remember those kids? Going into the video stores. If I would see a movie that had like these big name stars on it and I have never heard of it, that was a flag. That was a big red flag going off. But you know who's the king right now of the straight-to-VOD movie? It used to be Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's Bruce Willis?
It's Bruce Willis now, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely Bruce Willis. He had The Cold Light of Day with him and Henry Cavill.
That's right.
Him and Henry Cavill. He had Fire with Josh Duhamel and Rosario Dawson. He's got like .54 or some other thing like that. Like he's just cranking those out. Quite often, though, like a lot of these movies do get made with the intention of VOD. Sometimes, though, it does happen, like with, what was it, the limousine driver one, Chauffeur? Is that the one?
That's right.
That Joe Carnahan just directed, right?
Right.
So it was made with the intention of going to screen, but then it doesn't. And it's not the production company's decision. It's the distributor's decision. Once they look at the film and they think, you know what, it's going to cost us $40 million to market and get the prints for this movie and put it out. Do we think we can even get our money back just in the marketing budget? If the answer is no, then they go VOD. And that has happened sometimes. The Joe Carnahan film is a really great example of that, where they think, you know what, the money and the expense of putting these films in theaters are just so high that even though they spent whatever money to do it, whatever. As far as I don't think the big name stars would sign up if they knew it would never be in theaters, I don't think that's true. I think Michael Douglas explained to us when we were talking to him very clearly, look, we are actors for hire. That's what we do. Hey, look, you offer me $1.5 million to do 2 weeks of work on a film that I can do all my scenes in 2 weeks. I don't care if it goes straight to VOD or in a bubblegum machine or nationwide, whatever. I'm going to get paid because it's their job. So I think for a lot of them, they really don't mind. Anyway, Schnepp is somebody who's operated in that world a lot and somebody who has a VOD movie coming out himself, The Death of Superman Lives. How do you see this?
Yeah, it's perfect. It makes perfect sense. A lot of films are not built to go into theaters. They don't have that marketing. It takes so much money. It's called P&A. It's print and advertising. It's the machine that you see whenever you see a billboard on a bus or when you're like, oh, the marketing, that's an incredible expense. Sometimes double of what the actual film cost. Most
if it's a low budget film,
it's a low budget film. So a lot of people who make films, like you'll see, if you're like just scrolling through your Xbox and you're looking at a bunch of brand new releases and you're like, oh, I've never heard of that John Travolta movie or this. So there's a lot of people who are like big name actors, still big name actors, who will do like 5 or 6 movies a year. And then only one of those is actually going to make it to the theater. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think we live in a time now that when you were talking about when you'd go to Blockbuster and you'd be like, why is that guy in that film? I never heard of it. It would be the red flag of stink. You'd be like, I'm not, it's obviously got dumped. And now we live in a world where it's not being dumped, it's just not able to make it to theaters because people don't think that it's going to make its money back. So it's like the films that do make it to large cinemas, like AMC or any of these other larger cinemas, are films that are like banking on making their money back. And they have to be of a certain type of film. So smaller, lower budget independent films live better on VOD or straight to video release. I mean, that's just how it is. So, and there's nothing wrong with it. Nowadays, it's sort of like I look forward to the distinction between a low budget film that came out on video or in a small theater versus the large budget film. So there's obviously a big difference.
Tell Ashley and I more about this Blockbuster that used to exist.
Do tell.
Was it near the Apothecary, or did I swing by Woolworths and hit Blockbuster on the way home?
Well, young Elif, it actually existed right side by side with libraries where people used to read.
There was a time where, like, they say the biggest biggest stress on relationships are financial items. It used to be that the biggest stress of relationships was going into a Blockbuster with your girlfriend and trying to figure out what you're going to rent. That was a test for your relationship.
See,
like
college
crazy.
Mark Ellis used to go to Blockbuster on Friday night and hit on girls, because if you were a girl at Blockbuster on Friday night by yourself, you were there because you just got dumped. You needed some Dirty Dancing, some Ben & Jerry's, and maybe a little bit of Mark Ellis, too. Fortunately, don't have that move in the trick bag anymore, but I got a girlfriend, and she's real. She's right here. We're here. I can't see her right now.
Thank God for Netflix.
Actually, here's a good question for everybody at the table. And Schnepp, let's start with you. What's the last movie you remember actually renting in a video store? A physical movie that you then took home and put in your DVD player, or dare I say a VHS player? Do you even remember?
I remember going to that Blockbuster that was over on Sunset Boulevard, right next to the Kentucky Fried Chicken. And I remember going in there.
I've been in that one.
That one that was like the kind of bigger deluxe Blockbuster. You kind of just like milling about, like grazing like a cow animal, just like, holding 3 or 4 films. And you're right, with your girlfriend, you're like, I've got these 3 movies. Well, I've got these 3. So you have to mix and match them, or all of them are the same. You're lucky. You usually would get 3
Yeah, that
films.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't. But it does sometimes. You usually would get 3 films. So unfortunately, I can't remember what the last film I got from
I can. The last movie I actually rented was in the back section of a local video store, and you're not really allowed to say those titles, but I was actually at that Blockbuster, the one that you're talking about, because I first lived in here, and I lived right on Fairfax and Sunset, and I wanted to rent Blue Crush.
Oh my
Bam!
I wanted to rent Blue Crush, and I take Blue Crush, and I get all the way back to my place, and I open it up, and the DVD in there is Blue Collar Comedy Tour. So I wanted to see Kate Bosworth surfing. Instead, I got Larry the Cable Guy slinging jokes at me, which, by the way, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour is actually really funny.
It's really funny.
Yeah, but it's not Kate Bosworth surfing, which is what I wanted. So
I remember the last one I got was, I think, 5 years ago, and it was because I was with a bunch of people. We just wrapped shooting my movie, actually, and we were with a bunch of people who had never seen Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Wow. And I called around trying to find somebody that had a copy. We found a copy, drove I think maybe to that Blockbuster right before it closed, and got it, and that was the last one I rented. Did you ever actually go to a store and rent a movie?
I was actually the girl that switched the Blue Crush DVD. That was me.
All right, folks, so that'll do it for us for this installment of AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all of your theater, showtime, and of course your movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video below and you'll find a link to our podcast feed. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me, sitting over here, Big Smurfy, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
Can't wait for Get Smurfy, man. You can find me at John Schnepp and at TDOSLWH, just at Twitter and Instagram. And check out my film at www.tdoslwh.com. You can pre-order The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened right now.
Sitting next to his imaginary girlfriend, which I affectionately refer to as the Snuffleupagus, Mr. Mark Ellis. Mark, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at 5150Ellis. Check out my Game of Thrones emoji reaction. And this weekend, I'll be at the Comedy Store in Hollywood Friday and Saturday.
And, of course, our lovely host today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
On Twitter and on Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Monday, guys.
And you can follow me on all the various social media networks on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, all at John Campia. That'll do it for us, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.